Yes, hello and welcome to another Underground Railroad Productions. Today we are pleased to be with brother
Evan Trudeau.
And what are you talking about today, brother?
Today my subject is on water. The title of my lecture is Water, the Source of Life, and Bottled Water, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars.
Okay, before you go into this bottled water, just give the viewers a brief, just tell them who you are and what is it exactly you do, and
Okay. I'm a native of Detroit. I'm a Gulf War veteran. Right now my occupation is a personal trainer and a certified holistic health counselor.
Okay. Now, what do you mean by bottled water, silent weapons for quiet war? Because it's to my understanding that we need to be wary of the filtered water. So now you telling us there's something up with the bottled water, because I'm trying to get away from the tap water, and now you're saying something's up with the bottled water. So explain that to the viewers out there, because all of us drink Poland Spring almost,
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned Poland Spring off the top. I have an article from the Daily News dating back 2003, June 19th, and some people from another state, of course, they filed a class action lawsuit against Poland Spring. The original Poland Spring has been closed since 1967. So the water that you're getting is from asphalt parking lots and a well. The name of the company, Nestle Corporation, they own all the labels: Perrier, Poland Spring, Deer Park, Great Bear. All these bottled water companies are under one company, Nestle North America.
So all of them are basically, they have different names, but they're all Nestle, you're saying?
Absolutely. You yourself, anyone that's listening to this lecture, you can get on a computer, design a bottled water label with your name on it, and say that it's spring water. There are no FDA regulations stating what spring water is or isn't.
And why particularly bottled water? Like, what is it that's in the... Because there's sometimes when I drink bottled water, like if it's real hot and the bottled water's been sitting there for a while, it's almost like it has a real funny taste to it.
What you're tasting are the petrochemicals from the plastic. And the health effects of drinking bottled water from these plastic containers are liver as well as testicular damage, and there are also estrogen mimickers and endocrine disruptors in the plastic. And this is what's causing women are giving birth to children that have hormonal imbalances.
Yeah, that's deep right there. So now, what about like the water that comes in the glass bottles? Like there's some...
Well, if you're gonna drink bottled water, I would suggest glass over plastic, because if you're buying bottled water, again, when you're buying this water, you don't know how long it's been in the container, number one. You're dealing with the petrochemicals that are in the plastic. You're dealing with the health effects there. Also, when they do, bottle the water, they have to use chlorine to prevent bacteria from developing in the water. Chlorine is a known carcinogen. It's been known that it causes breast cancer, prostate cancer, birth defects, miscarriages. This is what we want to avoid. And if you're buying bottled water, it's equivalent to playing Russian roulette. You don't know what you're getting. You prepare your own food, you filter your own water.
So you're saying we should filter our own water?
Absolutely. I mean, let's say you go to a health food store and you buy, organic vegetables or fruit. You don't want to rinse your water in tap water, which is chlorine. That's equivalent to rinsing your vegetables in a swimming pool. I don't know anyone who would rinse their vegetables or fruits in a swimming pool. That's what you're doing when you're rinsing your vegetables in tap water, or you're cooking with tap water, or if you're making your teas or coffee from tap water.
Now, what about distilled water? Because I hear a lot of people say distilled water is the best kind of water to get out there. If you're not drinking spring water, a lot of people go to distilled. So what's up with that?
Well, I recommend that you read this book called The Hidden Messages in Water, written by Dr. Masaru Emoto, who's from Japan. And he showed you the molecular structure of water under a microscope. Distilled water, the structure of the water has been distorted. And when you drink distilled water, you are leaching minerals out of your system. You are dehydrating your body. I know bodybuilders who only drink distilled water before a contest so that their skin is tight up against the muscle. But drinking distilled water over a prolonged period of time has been led to cardiovascular disease. And this, I have all the documents to state what I'm saying in this lecture. This is an article from the Environmental Protection Agency. You could also look on www.mercola.com by Dr. Mercola, Early Death from Drinking Distilled Water. They are using distilled water to make sodas as well as juice. Juice is juice, soda is soda, and water is water. People are not drinking enough water. You know, the daily recommended intake of water is 8 ounce glasses of water a day. I say that you should drink half of your body weight of water in ounces. So like say like if you weigh 180 pounds, you want to drink 90 ounces of water a day. Now, some people may not be capable of doing that. However, excuse me, some people may not be capable of doing that, but at least drink 8 ounce glasses of water a day to prevent dehydration. A majority of our diseases today are because of dehydration, not drinking enough water, malnutrition, which is a form of stress on the body, as well as, you know, living day-to-day life is a form of stress on the body.
Now, you know, a lot of people out there, they say, I ask them, I say, yo, you drink water? Yeah, I drink water. I drink soda, or I drink juice, and I'm telling them, I'm like, man, half of that stuff ain't even real juice. If you look at the bottle, it says contains 10% juice. So you gotta ask yourself, what is that other 90% that's in there? You know,
food additives.
Food additives,
You know, yellow dye number 5, different colored dyes that are known carcinogenics. It might be tap water for all you know.
Now, what is this high fructose corn syrup? Because you see that in everything you drink.
I'm glad you mentioned that. People need to start reading their labels so that they know what they're getting. High fructose corn syrup is almost similar to sugar to some degree, but the health effects of high fructose corn syrup is diabetes. What this chemical does is that it shuts off the insulin in the body and sets up the body for diabetes after long term, as well as aspartame, which is a known neurotoxin.
Artificial sweetener, right?
Yeah, NutraSweet.
Yeah.
When I was in the Gulf War back in 1991, a lot of the troops were drinking Diet Coke that was sitting out in the sun, and a lot of them got sick. A lot of them today, a lot of them are dead. They have Gulf War syndrome. It's a neurotoxin. It kills the neurons in the brain. It causes neurological brain damage, and I consider it a form of biochemical warfare through the food or through the water that we're drinking, or the juices or the sodas. And it also causes people to want to eat more.
And that's supposed to be diet soda, but it causes you to want to eat more.
Causes you indirectly to want to eat more. That's what happens. High fructose corn syrup is in a lot of your cranberry juice, your grape juice, a lot of these juices. It's in a lot of your sodas. You know, you got to read your labels, because also what high fructose corn syrup does is it shuts off this chemical in your body called leptin. Leptin is a chemical that's released into your system that tells the body that it's full. So when you flip that switch off, people want to keep eating.
Wow.
So these chemicals are shutting off different switches in the body, and people keep on eating processed food, fast foods that have literally no nutrition in it. So we're looking at two spectrums here. We have one class of people that are overweight but malnutrition and cellularly dehydrated on a cellular level.
Now, what about vitamin water? A lot of people I know drink vitamin water. I even drink vitamin water sometimes.
Okay, I look at it like this. There's no right or wrong about drinking bottled water, but the question is it safe? You have to read your labels. You have to look at the ingredients that are in this water and then make a conscious decision. Do I want to drink this? Is this the best thing for me to drink? It's marketing. I could come up with my own water and put minerals in it and call it whatever I want. It's marketing. The only way you're going to know that your water has minerals or vitamins in it is to do it yourself. Mm-hmm. That is the only way.
Now, what about Kangen water? A lot of people talk about Kangen water.
Okay, Kangen water.
Kangen,
I'm familiar with the company. I've been doing these New Life Expos at the New Yorker Hotel for the past 3 years now. And I met some people who work for this company as distributors promoting this product. And I'm going to tell you straight off the bat that it's grossly overpriced product. You can alkalize your water with minerals. You can alkalize your water with lemon oil. You can alkalize your water with lemon juice. The key is not alkaline water. The key is to have your body in an alkaline pH. So you can put your own minerals in your water and alkalize and supercharge your body on the cellular level with the minerals. A majority of Americans today are not getting minerals from their food because our soil has been depleted of minerals since 1936. So we're filling up our stomachs, but on a cellular level, our cells are craving minerals that we need to function on a daily basis.
Now, this lack of water that we're getting, how does that affect our melanin in our pineal gland? The fact that, a lot of people are dehydrated from drinking all this soda and, just not drinking enough water. What effect does that have on our melanin, us being melanated beings?
You're not going to function at your optimum. You're going to be suspect to heavy metal toxicity because you need minerals to flush toxins out of your system. You need safe, clean water to flush toxins out of your system. If you're drinking chlorinated water, you're defeating the purpose of drinking water to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing about this Kangen water is that you want purified water. There are people out there who are drinking Kangen water who are on medications, and when they drink this water, highly alkalized water, it makes the medication work double time. And there are people out here who are hustling this system just to make a profit. They tell people whatever they need to hear in order to sell the product. I am all about doing research on water. I have several books here. The first book here is called Your Body's Many Cries for Water. And it says you are not sick, you are thirsty.
Let me get a close-up on that.
And the book is a little beat up, but I've been going through this book now for the past, 3 or 4 years. I think for your own mental edification, it's about self-educating yourself and getting as much knowledge as you can so you can apply that knowledge and get results. This Kangen water, they cannot tell you what contaminants that it takes out. That's my concern. I want purified water. What's water without minerals? Water without minerals is dead. You need minerals. It's like there's no way around it. We need to supplement our diet with minerals because there's not enough minerals in the soil that's going to be in the food that we're eating on a daily basis. So we're looking again at people who are dehydrated and depleted of minerals and suffering from heavy metal toxicity because they're growing our food in soil that's, number one, depleted of minerals, and the pesticides and herbicides that they're using, that they're spraying on the foods, are building up in our systems. And it's causing long-term disease, not like immediate disease, but over, months, years, decades. After a period of time, diseases are a result of mineral depletion in the body.
Now, is there any room temperature we should drink this water at? Because I've heard brothers in the past say don't drink water that's too cold, don't drink water that's too hot. So, Should we refrigerate it at all? Should we put it in the freezer, ice? What's the breakdown on all of that?
Well, I prefer to drink water that's room temperature. You want water that's closer to your body temperature as opposed to drinking water that's too cold, because when you're drinking this cold water, it shocks your system, and this is what you want to avoid. If you want to put ice in your water, that's your choice, but I suggest room temperature water as opposed to ice cold water, because again, it shocks your system, and that's something that you want to avoid.
So when you say room temperature, just like water that's left out, and you just, okay.
That's what I do. When I sleep at night, I have some water next to my bed. If I wake up, take a little sip, go back to bed.
Cause I've heard that before, but I can't lie. But there's nothing like when you drink some cold water
in the summertime. I do it. Nobody's perfect. You gotta do what you gotta do when it's warm like this.
Yeah.
But people drink more water in the summertime, but then when the fall sets in, like around this time, people are not drinking enough water. I mean, I have met numerous sisters out there who do colon therapy, and they tell me that at least 80% of the people that they do colon therapy on are constipated. You need to drink more water for helping the body digest the food. People are not drinking enough water. I see a number of brothers running around New York with these big pot bellies. And I know that's not beer. You remember John Wayne when he died, as well as Elvis Presley, 40 to 50 pounds of fecal matter in their colon. I met a brother on 125th Street going back to the Kangen water. He's like, he's talking about this Kangen water system and the water is great. I said, you know what? I said, it's real interesting how Negroes will run out and spend $4,000 for a water system, but will not go spend at least $100 to get their colon cleaned out. A number of black men today are suffering from prostate cancer. Their sagging colon is sitting on top of the prostate. And this is what's aggravating the prostate.
The colon, you're saying?
Right. Colon is sitting on top of the prostate. Long-term prostate problems. A lot of men are suffering from prostate problems because they're not getting zinc. Women need iron, men need zinc. Men need selenium. Men need saw palmetto or the herb Maca to balance the hormones in the body.
So this sort of creates like a hormonal imbalance or something.
Absolutely, because a lot of our food today has been injected with growth hormones, and we eat it and it affects our hormones. So I do recommend Maca to the sisters as well as the brothers to balance out their hormones. Maca is a known herb that's good for a healthy prostate as well as saw palmetto.
A lot of the vegetarians eat soy. That's
soy.
Yeah.
Another good question. There are a lot of misconceptions about soy, and I've been aware of this now for at least 7 years. I used to work at a Vietnamese restaurant down near NYU, and I used to eat a lot of scrambled tofu with scallions. And then I came across this magazine called Nexus. The magazine comes out of Australia, and they had an article on soy. And soy, the Chinese use soy as fertilizer for nitrogen retention of the soil. There are certain chemicals in soy that cannot be pulled out even though they put it through a certain chemical process to make it edible. It affects the thyroid, endocrine destabilization, calcium, magnesium, zinc, iron depletion. Giving your baby soy is equivalent to giving them birth control pills. And what soy is doing to the women is it's raising their estrogen levels, which means sooner or later they're going to get breast tumors. For the men, it's lowering your testosterone. There was a 400-page book written by Dr. Kayla Daniels. She's a certified clinical nutrition. The name of the book is called The Whole Soy Story. And a majority of the soy on the market is being genetically engineered by Monsanto, and they're promoting this soy as a wonder food, but it's causing mineral deficiencies. It's difficult for the body to process and digest soy. my experience, I had some tofu from the Uptown Juice Bar right before I did a lecture at the National Black Theater in Harlem. And in about 20 minutes, it came up. A lot of people are allergic to soy and they are not aware of it and how it's affecting them long term. I have all the research on everything that I'm saying. I'm not just, shooting my mouth off the top of my head. I mean, I can meet up with anyone and I can show them all the research that I've done to, state that what I'm saying is true and that's not just something I'm making up.
Have you ever heard of Mona Harrison?
I've heard of her over the years. She's not alive.
No. But she had a lot of tapes out on water. Like the importance of water, dehydration and all that. Like that's one of the first people that I heard really deal with water. Her and Dr. Sabi. He recommends you drink about a gallon a day.
That's what I drink. I drink a gallon a day over the course of the whole day. When I go to the gym, I put 1 ounce of chlorophyll in my water to oxygenate and purify my blood. It keeps my energy levels up. A lot of people are depressed because they're not drinking enough water. You gotta drink water. It's like when you drive a car, you want to keep your car at least half full. Your car needs gas. We need water, and this is something that we're taking for granted. Again, you need it for digestion. You need water. I mean, your brain is 75% water. Your internal organs, your kidneys, your liver, your lungs, your heart, your pancreas are at least 70 to 75% water. And if the body is functioning on a low tank of water over a long period of time, disease is inevitable. There's no way to get around it.
They say sometimes when you're hungry, you're really not hungry, you're thirsty.
You are thirsty, and when you're thirsty, you are dehydrated. And a number of people are not drinking enough water, and they're setting up their body for a very low pH. The body is very acidic. When your body's in an acidic state, you're setting the body up for disease over a long period of time.
What about people who might smoke cigarettes or somebody who might drink? Does that strip the body more of water? Or does that have any effect at all on, the water that you drink?
Well, smoking, I think that's something that we need to quit because you're affecting yourself on the cellular level. You have a lot of different 3,000 to 4,000 different chemicals in cigarettes, nicotine, tobacco. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and you're destroying your body on a cellular level.
As far as like alcohol, that's like what?
Throat cancer. Alcohol, you're destroying your liver. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have a beer every now and then. I'll drink some white or red wine. Sometimes I drink some vodka, but everything in moderation. Everything has to be in moderation.
So you have like your own filter system.
Yes.
And what is this that you have that you use?
Well, I first started out using the Brita pitcher. Fill it up, but then I noticed I started getting these little black crystals in the bottom of my water. Got rid of that. Started buying distilled water. I used to buy 2 gallons of distilled water every day. I thought I was doing the right thing. I didn't know. I got tired of lugging water home, and one day I was doing a catering job at the UN, and I was telling this guy, I'm sick and tired of lugging this water home. So he told me about the water system. I looked it up on the internet, did my research. I told him, hey, I want to get one of these so that way I don't have to lug my water up 4 or 5 flights of steps. So that's how I got into the business. I've been working with Multi-Pure Corporation since 2002, and I haven't looked back. I'm saving money. I use the water for drinking. I use it for cleaning my vegetables. I use it for steaming my vegetables. You don't want to go buy organic vegetables and then steam your vegetables in chlorine. Again, chlorine has been known to cause stroke, heart disease, miscarriages, birth defects, prostate cancer. This is what we want to avoid. So when you're drinking the safest, cleanest water possible, you are preventing disease as opposed to causing disease.
Now, what about we don't just drink water when we take a shower, our body's intaking water as well. So should we have a filter on the shower cap?
Absolutely. Why do I say this? Is because your skin is the largest organ on your body. So when you're in there taking that hot shower, your body is taking in that chlorine. And I do recommend that you get a shower head that takes the chlorine out of the water, because you're drying your skin out. Your skin is absorbing the chlorine, and chlorine is carcinogenic. I mean, like, imagine you go into a swimming pool and you notice after a while your skin starts to turn white, because the chlorine is drying your skin out. And I was in the Navy for 6 years, and we used to do a lot of swimming in that chlorine. And you know, now that I'm out, you couldn't pay me to swim in a swimming pool. I will swim in the ocean before I swim in a swimming pool with chlorinated water. They do have some swimming pools that don't use chlorine, and if I'm going to swim, it's not going to be in a chlorinated pool. That's definitely out the question.
It's that bad, huh?
It's that bad and then some. I mean, you imagine having a fish bowl and you put a fish in chlorinated water. That fish is not going to live too long. So imagine you drinking chlorinated water, tap water, and your cells are functioning off chlorinated water. What's happening is that your cells start to mutate, and they become malignant, and then over a period of time, the cells become cancerous.
Okay, now you mentioned a book earlier. Messages, I believe it was Messages in what's it called?
The Hidden Messages in Water. That was written by Dr. Masaru Emoto, who is a doctor from Japan, and he showed you what water is supposed to look like under a microscope. You look at water under a microscope on a molecular level, water has a snowflake crystal-like structure. When you look at distilled water, the structure of the water has been distorted and obliterated. Water has information in it if the water has minerals in it.
Now, in the book, doesn't he talk about like talking to the water?
Yes.
Or putting messages on the water?
You can talk to your water. You can play classical music or jazz music around your water. You can you can talk to your water and infuse your affirmation into the water, because when you're speaking, you're putting out a frequency. When you speak to your water and you talk to the water, you are programming your water. I mean, I'm willing to, as you're asking me this question, I want to do an experiment. I want to start talking to my water and program my water to become more successful at what I'm doing as far as offering information to you and everyone who's listening as a holistic health counselor, and as well as a personal trainer, because I look at it like this, what's wealth without health? At the end of the day, if you don't have your health, you don't have diddly. And if we are going to be a force collectively as a people, health has to come first. I mean, I've done health fairs, brother, at Allen AME Church out in Queens, and they have 15,000 members at this church. There were no more than 30 people at this health fair. I did health fairs at Abyssinian Baptist Church in Harlem, talked to them about the water and all the research that I've done. Our people want to debate when it comes to health. They don't want to take responsibility for their health. Jesus is not going to save us. God only helps those who help themselves. We have to not only do the research, but also put forth a plan of action to prevent our future generations from becoming victims to this corporate fast food industry that's taking them out at a young age.
Another thing is like accessibility. Like a lot of times in the black communities and neighborhoods, like you ain't got nothing but fast food joints. You won't see a Whole Food market, I guarantee that. I know brothers that commute all the way from Harlem to 14th Street or to 59th Street just to get some good organic food from Whole Foods, because the food that they send to our neighborhood is just it's of lower quality than the food that they send to other neighborhoods.
That's true. I think we're going to have to start growing our own food. We need to make connections with black organic farmers so we can have access to food that is more nutritious, because if we are not giving our body what it needs, we are not going to be able to function physically as well as mentally. A lot of these kids today in the public school system are not suffering from attention deficit disorder. They are suffering from nutrition deficit disorder. They are suffering from not drinking enough water. They're not eating the proper foods. They're not getting the proper minerals and vitamins in their system for them to perform at the level that they need to perform in order to become successful as they get older.
And what about the lighting? I heard something about the lighting in the schoolrooms. You ever heard anything on that?
I have heard about that. I didn't bring that with me today. I wish I had. But the fluorescent lights do affect the children's behavior. I think the best thing to do is to use incandescent lights in your home as opposed to the lights that you just mentioned. I read a book called Behavioral Problems in Children Linked to Vaccines, and this was written by a lady from Australia. And another problem in our community is the vaccines. The vaccines in this country have been contaminated since 1950, and they have found mercury in our vaccines. They're using thimerosal, which is a form of mercury, and it's causing autism.
That was just on the Oprah show last week. They was talking about that the vaccines are causing autism.
It's causing disease. This is how they're creating disease, through polluting our bloodstream, through polluting the river of life. They're telling our kids, oh, your kids need to take these shots before they go to school. It's biochemical warfare. Straight up, there's no other way of looking around it. There are religious pardons that people can go through so their kids do not have to take these vaccines. These vaccines are affecting their behavior. Shaken baby damage. It's the vaccines, bro. I mean, I read the book AIDS and Ebola, written by Dr. Leonard Horowitz, and he talked about these vaccines, and the World Health Organization, the National Cancer Institute, these pharmaceutical corporations, the FDA, they're all sleeping in the same bed, and they're making lots of money off people suffering. Vaccines,
definitely.
This is why these kids are behaving the way they're behaving, plus not getting the proper nutrition, plus smoking cigarettes, plus dehydration, plus caffeine, plus sugar, plus the monosodium glutamate that they're using in the Chinese restaurants. They're using monosodium glutamate in a lot of these fast food restaurants, and what it does is it overexcites the brain. And long term of eating this monosodium glutamate is causing havoc on the biological chemical level.
Now, what you think about? Because a lot of the sisters out there, they when they give birth, they're giving the kids this Similac, this milk, it's opposed to breastfeeding them. A lot of the younger mothers, they're not down with the breastfeeding at all.
Okay.
That's like a thing of the past. So what's up with that?
The Similac milk, it's in a can. We're dealing with aluminum. Aluminum is going to cause Alzheimer's disease. Aluminum causes Alzheimer's disease. Using aluminum foil causes Alzheimer's disease. You need to read and look at what's in these baby formulas. I would use almond milk before I use this. There are a lot of chemicals in the milk that's not good for the children, short term as well as long term. There's soy in this Similac milk. They've been putting soy in the baby formula since 1965.
Yeah, that's something.
So sisters need to become educated and know what they're giving their child, because what you're giving your child is going to affect them long term. Mm-hmm. Women need to detox their bodies on a daily basis. They need to drink more water. They need to get proper nutrition, because I look at it this way: everything that our sisters eat and everything that their man that they're with is eating is going to determine what type of child they bring in this world. So you got two people that are eating fast food. Can you imagine what type of child you're going to bring into this world?
Because that's passed down to their DNA, you say?
Absolutely. So if you're eating fast food, I call it frankenfood, genetically modified food, you're going to come out with a child that's not going to be all there.
Mm-hmm. Now what about, they got the water, for instance, fluoride water. Now that's like...
Fluoride, okay. That's a good question. I'm glad you mentioned that. Fluoride destabilizes the central nervous system in the brain. During World War II, the Nazis gave it to prisoners to make them become mentally docile.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
And our water has been getting fluoridated since the 50s. I know over in Eastern Europe they use fluoride in the water, and it makes their teeth become brown and mottled if they put too much fluoride in it. Yeah, it destabilizes the central nervous system in the brain. They also put fluoride in Prozac.
They got that in the toothpaste too, fluoride.
Right, so you're gonna need to find a toothpaste that does not have fluoride in it, because it's not what you think it is. Number of books that have been put out there on the health effects of fluoride. No fluoride.
It's not good at all, huh?
Not at all. I don't have that information with me right now, but you know, I can always dig it up. You know, if someone asks me a question that I don't know, I'm going to have the answer within days. You know, I like to do my research so I can bring the truth to the community, so we can become more conscious and make more conscious decisions about what we're drinking, what we're eating, what we're thinking. You know, we need to give ourselves a proper nutrition diet as well as a mental diet. So, you know, we got tons of information. The key is to apply the knowledge that we're learning, not just taking in this information, because you're not going to value the knowledge unless you're applying the knowledge and getting results from applying that knowledge. You know, some people say knowledge is power. I'm like, yeah, knowledge is power if you're getting results from applying that information.
All about the application of it, huh?
Application is key. I met a sister yesterday up in Washington Heights near Columbia, and I saw her walking down the street, and she had this book called The Secret. And I said, "How's the book, sister?" She said, "It's really good." And I said, "You know what?" I said, "Guess what the secret is?" She said, "What?" I said, "There is no secret." I said, "The secret is in you." I said, "What they're promoting, these universal laws have been around since day one." Mm-hmm. You could look at the Kabbalion, which deals with Hermetic philosophy. Yeah. We're dealing with universal laws here. All the secrets are encoded in us. All the secrets, all the knowledge, all the wisdom is encoded in our genes, in our DNA matrix. And in order to unlock those keys via the melanin, you have to drink more water. You need to give your body the 72 minerals and trace elements that is not getting from the food, because the minerals are giving the information to the genes to instruct the cells what to do.
Now, since you mentioned the secret, don't you think in a way, like I hear brothers talk about this, brothers that maybe they don't follow a particular diet, you know, you hear so much stuff. 1 minute we're told stay away from the tap water, then we gotta stay away from the bottled water, then we're eating soy, then it's like stay away from soy's no good, then we go to this, then we find out this is no good. So isn't a large percentage of what's going on mind over matter? Like would you say it's more mental than it is you know, worrying about everything that's what's good or what's not good for you?
Well, first of all, I would say that you're right to some degree. I don't worry about these things. It is a concern of mine. I get the information, take some precautionary measures, and call it a day. I don't get caught up in the information that I'm walking around, oh, what am I going to do? Okay, doing something is better than doing nothing. We need to take some sort of action and deal with what's causing the disease so we do not become victims. I would rather be the cause of my own effect than be the effect of some outside source's cause that's affecting my life or anyone else's. So I'm going to stick with filtering my own water. I'm saving money. I'm saving lots of money. The average household spends at least $1,000 a year on water. I can find out I can do better things with $1,000 besides spending it on water. That's totally ridiculous. It's a racket. It's a big ploy. I mean, you have multinational corporations right now, Monsanto, Bechtel, Enron, before they went bankrupt, that are going around the world and privatizing water in South and Central American countries for profit. Wars are being waged over water on this planet right now because no water, no food, no nothing. So when you have control of water, which right now is the world's most precious resource, you have control of people's health. Where the reason we're in Iraq is not just oil, it's about water. So when these corporations take control of the global water supply, they got control. The least you can do on your end is to filter your own water, put your minerals in it, your lemon juice or your lemon oil or whatever you want to put in your water to energize your body. You got to filter your own water. You got to take responsibility for your water that you drink by filtering it yourself, as opposed to putting your faith in these bottled water companies. I'm not saying that these bottled water companies are not filtering the water, but what I'm saying is look at the fact that it's in the plastic. They're putting chlorine in the containers so bacteria does not develop in the water. And you're still drinking chlorine. Mind over matter. You got to drink something. If you're out and about and you don't have your own water, you got to drink what you got to drink. It's okay. You know what I mean? I think it all kind of evens out in the end, but it is mental as well. I do agree with you, but I also agree that you need to take some actions as far as filtering your own water so you can save money.
Now, what about say if a terrorist attack was waged and on the tap water? Would a filter be enough to prevent some of that bacteria, whatever it is that's coming through there? Would a powerful filter be able to block that off?
Well, what I like about our filter is that number one, it's made of solid carbon. And what it does is it filters the water to 0.5 micron. That's equivalent to splitting one of your hairs in half and then splitting that hair 80 times, so you're micro straining the water. So you're taking out chlorine, lead, mercury, parasites, herbicides, pesticides, volatile organic chemicals, gasoline additive, MTBE. MTBE is a gasoline additive that was used in the past to reduce air pollution. However, this gasoline additive is in underground storage tanks nationwide, leaking into our groundwater where they're getting our so-called spring water. Do the best you can do. Mineralize your water, alkalize your water with the minerals, and call it a day. So, do what you can and keep it moving, but don't worry, because worrying doesn't help either.
Yeah. Now, how much is this the filtration system? If you could tell the people, give them some information. If they wanted to, if they were interested in buying this, how would they go about it?
Okay. First of all, this company's been around since 1970.
What's the name of the company?
Multi-Pure. You can check it out on the website, www.multipure.com. The system is a stainless steel system, and it has a solid carbon block filter in it. And I replace my filter like approximately once a year. I'm getting 750 gallons of water at 8 cents a gallon. I don't have to lug it home anymore. Let's say I decide to move out of my apartment and move into another space. I can unhook the system from my faucet in less than 10 seconds.
So you're saving a lot of money, huh?
I'm saving a hell of a lot of money. I'm not having to lug 2 gallons of water up flights of stairs to my apartment. It's convenient. I'm using it for cleaning my vegetables and fruits. I'm using it for steaming my vegetables. I'm using it for cleaning my fruit. The shower head as well, I'm using that, to keep that chlorine off the skin, because, your skin is absorbing the chlorine. The system has a 25-year warranty. These people out here who's selling these Japanese Kangen water systems, what's the warranty on the system? It's sure not 25 years. Our system has been tested and certified by UL, which is Underwriters Laboratories. You can go in your kitchen, your refrigerator, your stove, your blender has the UL symbol on it. So they test all appliances. It also has the Water Quality Association seal. It also has been tested and certified by NSF, which is the National Sanitation Foundation. They test all water systems on the market to make sure that these companies' systems meet the claims that they claim that their system can take out this, that, or the other. So there are a number of systems out there on the market, but our company has been around since 1970, so I'm looking at a company that has a 37-year reputation. This company, Multi-Pure, also sells replacement filters to Amway. Now, our replacement filter is $60 versus $80 for the same filter. I'd rather spend $60 for a replacement filter than $80. For those of you who may be interested in, the reverse osmosis system, we have reverse osmosis. So, the price range is anywhere from $224 up to $600. We have under the sink systems. I've been doing it as a network marketing business now for 5 years. It's been profitable for me, after getting laid off from working at the UN after 9/11. So, I like the system, and I'm going to stick with it because I got some people who sponsored me into the business, and they've been very supportive with me in being successful. They provided me with information, and I went out on my own to do my own research regarding the bottled water companies. So when I do lectures like this, I can give you the information, I can give you all the references, where I got my information from. I have this magazine here called the Environmental Magazine, and this issue is September-October 2003. And I look at it like this, a picture's worth 1,000 words. And they have a 16-page article on the bottled water industry, and they go to town. They go to town on the whole bottled water industry. It's a hoax, it's hype. You're not getting what you think you're getting. They tell you that it's spring water, and just because you believe that it's spring water doesn't mean that it is. It's all marketing. So this is an old magazine. People think that there's nothing wrong with their water. I have another magazine from the Natural Resource Defense Council, Clean Water, Clear Choice. Do you know whose administration decisions on water pollution? And this magazine came out in 2002. I got this at the Natural Resource Defense Council down on 20th Street between 5th and 6th. And last but not least, from the Natural Resource Defense Council, a 200-page book on the bottled water industry, and they did this studies back in February of 1999. Bottled water, pure drink or pure hype. Chapter 5, marketing a perception of purity. It's a hoax. And people are being ripped off in America for bottled water. This is where I got a lot of my research, also from U.S. News World Report dating back in 2002, The Future of Water. And it says in U.S. News World Report that bottled water is not from mountain springs, but cities' taps. Dasani is tap water from Queens, New York. Aquafina is tap water.
You said from Queens, New York?
Yep. Dasani is tap water from Queens, New York. I have it right here in my water book. I challenge anybody. I do my research so I can bring the truth to the people so they can make a conscious decision on what to do, as opposed to not doing anything at all about it and making these bottled water companies rich. The water industry is going to be a multi-trillion-dollar a year industry in the up-and-coming decades. We're talking 1.5 billion people of color on this planet do not have access to safe water. This is population control. This is genocide. I have another book here, Minerals for the Genetic Code, and they tell you in this book was written by a geneticist that the World Health Organization was putting arsenic in the water over in Bangladesh, and people over in Bangladesh are suffering from cancer left and right. I mean, I didn't write this book. They wrote the book. All I do is go out, gather the information, read it, assimilate it, so I can kick it to you. So, you know, they're using polluted water as a weapon to cause disease. And who's being affected? We're being affected. I mean, you have African sisters over in Africa who have to walk like maybe a mile outside the village to bring water back to the village. And here we are, we have easy access to water and we just take it for granted. It's nothing to be taken for granted. Your health is nothing to be taken for granted. I mean, our people are dying out maybe 20 years before their time. Johnny Cochran, he died before his time. He was in his 70s. I met that brother on 2 occasions. You know, a successful brother, but he wasn't stuck up. He's down to earth brother. And it's unfortunate that he had to go out the way he went out.
All right. Is there any... We're about to get into part 2 of this interview.
Okay.
Part 2, we're going to touch more on something else that people use every day. Use more than water, and that's cellular phones. We use it. I mean, it's amazing because, you know, 15 years ago, you know, you mentioned a cell phone to somebody, it's like, you know, they wouldn't even know what you're talking about. Now it's like you walk down any block, you're guaranteed to see at least 10 people on their cell phone. So we're gonna get into, you know, the dangers and the long-term, short-term health effects by using these cell phones on an everyday basis. But before we get into that, is there a website? Is there a number? How can somebody contact you concerning this filtration system?
Okay. My number is 212-927-8731. The website is www.multipure.com. So you can check out that website and you can call me if you have any questions about the system, the company itself. Like I said, I've been with the company for 5 years. My sponsor has been with the company since 1993. And, you know, I'm very happy with the system. I've done lectures on WBAI. I've done lectures on WWRL. The sister who works down at WBAI, Kathy Davis, she allowed me to come in on several occasions and speak on their talk show about, you know, water and how to have safe water for your home.
All right, let's get into one question from the sister over here. You want to get into that question now? Okay. Well, we're gonna get into part 2. We're gonna take a quick break. Then we're gonna get into part 2. You're gonna deal with more of the cell phones.
Absolutely.
All right. Peace, y'all. All right, we back for part 2 interview. The first half was powerful. We got some real important information relating to water and bottled water, tap water, chlorinated water, distilled water, filtered water, all types of water basically. We're gonna get back to water, but I just want to take a break and touch on cell phones, because there's not a lot of information out there there is on the internet, but there's not a lot of tapes out there where people are actually dealing with the health effects of cell phones. And I mean, everybody got one. There's 6-year-olds with cell phones out there, grandmothers with cell phones. So it's not just a generational thing. I mean, people from 5 to 60 have cell phones. So what's going on? I mean, we think we're advancing as a society and we look cool. We got the Bluetooth. What's going on? I mean, break all this down to me now.
We're advancing technologically as a society, but our consciousness is rapidly deteriorating. I just ordered a book called Cell Phones, Invisible Hazards in the Wireless Age, written by George Carlo, MD, PhD. And I have a 6-page article here from Nexus Magazine, and the title is Electropollution, Hormones, and Cancer. A number of us, I'm probably sure you're familiar with Johnny Cochran.
Yeah.
The famous defense attorney who defended O.J. Simpson. He died from an inoperable brain tumor as a result of using cell phones. Also, Reginald Lewis, who was like former CEO of Beatrice Foods, he also died from the same problem, using these cell phones. A lot of people are coming up with serious health effects. People are having headaches, chronic fatigue as a result of using these cell phones. People are not going to stop using their phones. But there is a way to protect yourself. It's called the BioPro chip, and you put it on the back of your phone, and it reduces 98% of the electromagnetic radiation of the phones.
It's called the BioPro chip?
BioPro chip. I'm going to be working at the New Life Expo next month at the New Yorker Hotel, October the 19th through the 21st, a 3-day health fair, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'm working with a married couple who's coming in from California, so we can promote this problem, because it's causing havoc on the cellular level, it's causing havoc on the hormonal level, and it's preventing your body from getting optimum nutrition.
Mm-hmm. Now, how is it preventing the body from getting optimal nutrition?
Well, what's happening with the electromagnetic radiation, it affects the way the cells communicate with each other. And when the body's being bombarded with this electromagnetic radiation from the phones, it causes the cells to close up. They clam up. It hardens the cellular membrane, so the cells can't receive water, it can't receive nutrition, and it cannot release toxins out of the cells. So this is going to cause, over a period of time, is going to cause the cells to mutate and become malignant cells, and then either become cancerous or that cell dies off. I mean, again, your body is reproducing 25 million cells per day, and if you're reproducing malignant or cells that have become mutated, then that's going to affect your health long term. It affects your moods, learning disabilities in children, chronic fatigue. It raises the hormone levels in men. It lowers the testosterone in men, and it raises the estrogen levels in women. That equals cancer. That equals breast cancer in women. That equals prostate cancer in men. This is what we want to avoid. There is no way around it. The phone companies or the cell phone companies, they don't care. It's like either the government, either they don't know or they don't care, or they don't want you to know what the health effects are with these phones. So I have a phone, I have a chip on my phone. I didn't bring my phone with me today, I forgot it, but I'm going to tell you, if you are using a cell phone and you're not protecting yourself from the electromagnetic radiation, you are going to have some problems over the next 5 to 10 years. I can guarantee it. I read this 6-page article from Nexus magazine, and I got this 300-page book coming in the mail tomorrow. So when I do my lectures next month on this subject, people need to do something, because people are going to have brain tumors. They're inoperable. Brain tumors are inoperable. Brain cancer is inoperable. If you're using a cell phone and you don't have any type of protection on your phone, that's equivalent to putting your head in a microwave oven. You put an egg in a microwave oven and you set the timer there, it'll blow that door open. So you're receiving radiation in small amounts, but over a period of time, you're going to have some problems. There are people out there who have brain tumors in their head that are shaped like an antenna. If you're using that Bluetooth, especially dangerous. If you're using these headsets, these headsets don't work.
So the Bluetooth is like
worse.
Much worse. Huh?
Much worse. And if you're going to use a headset, it needs to be a hollow air tube headset. If you're not using a hollow tube headset, forget it. They don't work. I've done the research here. September, October issue of Nexus magazine. If any one of you are interested, I'd like to meet up with you and give you this 6-page article so you can read up, because these phones are no joke. I mean, we are living in a sea of electromagnetic pollution in the air from the cell towers, and you have to protect your biofield from the effects of this radiation. There's no way around it. So this company also has a necklace that you can wear to protect your biofield from the effects of the radiation and from these cell phone towers.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way around it. You have absolutely got to protect yourself, because you're being affected on so many levels and you don't even understand why. I mean, it affects your energy levels. And if you're sitting in front of a computer, you need to put these chips on your laptop computer, or as well as your computer at home. Well, I see a number of people with their laptops sitting in their lap. Men, sperm count is going down 30%. You're putting a cell phone up on your hip. It's affecting your reproductive organs. Men as well as women.
When you have it on your hip, you mean?
Yep. It's affecting your reproductive organs. It's like, when I read this article a week ago, I was like, wow, it's like, I'm glad that I have the chip on my phone.
Yeah, like I was telling you earlier, I when the Bluetooth first came out, I got it like right away. I was like, oh, I could talk and, not hold my phone and this and that. I looked at it as being convenient, but I would get these excruciating headaches, and like after about 3 days, I was just like, damn, I was styling. I had it on the side, and people was like, oh, what's that on the side of your phone? I was like, this is a new joint. You trying to look cool. But the headaches was like, nah, I can't, this ain't worth it. So I just end up bringing it back, because I noticed the difference right away. I noticed the difference when I had the Bluetooth in my head. It was like you said, like I was literally frying my brain. I felt my brain frying. So I was like, nah, I can't deal with this right here.
Well, if you put the BioPro chip on your Bluetooth, you're good to go. I'm really looking forward to the New Life Expo next month and promoting this product, because our health is being affected on so many different levels, and I think that this needs to be addressed first. You know, it's the immediate threat are the cell phones, because everybody out there I see, they're on a cell phone. I'm not telling people not to use their phones. I'm not telling people what kind of conversations that they're having on their phones, but if you're going to use your cell phones, it's like everybody doesn't want to hear your business out here on the street. People are walking down the street, walking across the street, cars are coming, they're on their cell phone, or they're text messaging something like there's nothing else important but that phone call or doing that text message. And I've seen accidents occur because people that are driving their cars trying to avoid hitting someone who's on their cell phone, or people that are driving their cars and they're on their cell phone running their mouth, and it's like people have become addicted to talking. I mean, we do need our cell phones in order to communicate with each other, and they say, oh, well, I need to have a cell phone in case of an emergency. Okay, during the blackout, did your cell phone work? During 9/11, did your cell phone work? I can see if you have your own business that you're operating, you need a cell phone for direct communication. But now it's like people are using cell phones just for profiling and for social means. I understand if you're going to meet up with someone, you want to have immediate contact with that person, but talking on these phones and you don't have any protection, if you're talking on these phones longer than 5 or 10 minutes,
like people out here having hours conversations. Like sometimes I'm on a cell phone for hours, you know.
Some people tell me that they stop using their landline. They're just using the cell phone as a way of communicating. Brothers, sisters, these kids, 12, 12, even 15 years old, their brain is not fully developed. It's causing attention deficit disorder. Chronic fatigue affects your mood, it affects your behavior. I mean, the list from this article, it just blew me away. I was like, wow. I'm glad that I have this chip on my phone. I'm happy that I'm with this company and they're providing me with the research that has been done on the health effects of these phones, so I can get the information to people who want to protect themselves and safeguard their family members from the health effects.
Now, how much is this chip, the BioPro chip?
The chip is $35. It's very much the investment. You don't have to replace it. You just put it on the back of your phone. 98% reduction in the radiation from the phones, and you're good to go. You can talk and not have to think about it anymore. You don't have to think, oh, am I going to get these headaches? Because it affects people's sleeping patterns. It affects the pineal gland and the way it functions as far as releasing melatonin into the system, which is responsible for the circadian rhythms that puts the body to sleep.
So you say the cell phone is having a direct effect on that?
A direct effect on the pineal gland, a direct effect on the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus, the thymus gland. The thymus gland is being affected, so when that's being shut down, your immune system is being shut down. So we already live in a polluted environment. The air that we breathe is not that great. We're not drinking enough water. We're not getting the proper mineral vitamin supplementation. We're not getting the proper carbs, proteins, essential fatty acids, and enzymes for our bodies to function properly. So we're being worn out from the inside out. So you got to protect yourselves from this technology age that we're living in, and you got to give your body the proper nutrition, because if you don't, disease is like right around the corner. It's just knocking on the door, just waiting to come in. And don't get me wrong, you know, I like to look fly in my gear, but give your body what it needs so that it can function properly. If you do not give your body the necessary nutrients that it needs, and you're being bombarded with air pollution and stress and these electromagnetic frequencies, you are not going to live that long, and you're going to have some health complications that could have been avoided had you taken action once you get a hold of this type of information.
Now, what you think about sleep? A lot of people don't get a lot of sleep these days. A lot of people, you know, they're operating on 5-6 hours of sleep, and then after that, they're right back at it with work, you know, and all other stresses of life. So how important is sleep to our health as well?
That's when your body is recharging. These phones are affecting your sleeping patterns. The technology that we live, the technological age that we live in today is affecting your sleep patterns. I mean, me personally, I don't have any electronic equipment in my home. I don't have a TV. I had a laptop computer, but we're still being affected from your living space as far as your electrical outlets. So this company also has a product called the harmonizer that you can put into your outlets to neutralize the electricity that's in your walls of your home.
They say it's best to, like, when you sleep, unplug everything, you know, like TV or anything that's plugged into the socket.
That's what I do. You can unplug it, but you're still dealing with the effects. There's some people who live in apartment buildings where the cell towers are on top of their building. They are not getting any sleep, or they're not getting much, and they don't know why.
Wow. So it seems like with this technology age comes the disease age, huh?
We are living under the technology of control. I wish I still had that magazine by the Conscious Roster where he talked about technology, and technology is advancing rapidly and has advanced rapidly for the past 50 years, but the consciousness of the people is not advancing at the same rate and efficiency as the technology, and we are becoming more and more dependent on the technology in order to function as human beings. I mean, there was a time, like when I was growing up back in the 70s, we didn't have no cell phones. We functioned fine.
Yeah.
You know, we weren't born with a phone on our hip. You know, some people cannot function without their cell phone. It's become an epidemic. You become a talkaholic.
But what do you think that's a result of? Like, people just can't seem to function without a cell phone. Like, when did this?
It's like it's become an epidemic. Talking has become an addiction. We need to communicate, but people are becoming bored, and people are becoming more and more alienated through the technology. You know, your PlayStation 3, your home video games. People, especially the youth, they're playing these video games. They're not as active as you and I used to be back in the 70s and the 80s. They're becoming more technologically adept, but the more we use the technology, the less we think. I think the computer is right here. You know, we live in a matrix, we live in a system where we are taught not how to think, but what to think.
Yeah.
So then we're under the auspices of the matrix. We don't do anything until the matrix tells us to do it. Oh, get a cell phone because in case of an emergency, and then you run out and get the phone for that purpose. I'm not saying that the phone doesn't have its purpose, but everything in moderation. I mean, I've talked to some sisters out there who have $600 cell phone bills. I'm like, you gotta be out of your mind. Talking on the phone. About what? Do you have your own business? Is that cell phone making you money, or is it taking money out of your pocket? You got to think about how much money we spend a month on our cell phone bill over the course of a year, over the course of 5 years, over the course of 10 years. You got a landline at home.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this again. I'm not saying that the cell phone is not necessary in this time and day, but use your cell phone in moderation.
Now, what about the sisters that talk on the phone while they're pregnant? How does that impact? Because, you know, there's a lot of sisters that they run their mouth all day on the cell phone.
No good. The radiation from these phones are affecting our DNA.
Mm-hmm.
The DNA strand becomes distorted. It becomes broken. You're affecting cellular communication. You're hardening the cellular membrane. Not good for the baby who is not even come into this world yet. Not good at all. I mean, and this is just what little I know just from reading this 6-page article. It's like, I've had some people read this article, and then I get back to them in a couple of days and say, oh, what did you think of the article? And they're like, oh man, I need to get one of those chips.
Yeah.
People gonna keep using their phones. That's cool. You better protect your brain because you only got one.
Mm-hmm.
Because once that goes.
Now, is there any, like, because with the more advanced the cell phones get, do you think that's more and more radiation, or do you think all cell phones are just about the same?
I think they're pretty much all about the same. I mean, I'm estimating, based on the question that you're asking me, I don't know 100%. When I get this book, you know me, I'm going to comb through that book. I got my highlighter, highlighting key points. So when I do my lectures specifically on cell phones and not just on water and optimum nutrition, I'm going to break it down and keep it simple for people where they can understand, so they can make a choice like, hey, I need to protect myself from getting brain cancer, brain tumors, loss of memory, alteration of DNA, affecting your hormones. You know, hormones is havoc on the cellular level. I mean, you are only as healthy as your cells.
Mm-hmm.
The health of your cells is gonna pretty much determine the longevity of your life. You keep your cells properly hydrated with water, minerals, proper nutrition, lots of green foods to alkalize your pH and oxygenate and purify your blood, and your antioxidants to neutralize free radical damage on the cellular level, because we're breathing polluted air here every day. I mean, the human being is breathing approximately 25,000 times per day. And if you're not taking antioxidants to offset the free radical damage, then your cells are in trouble, and you are in trouble as a result. Green tea, great. A cup of green tea won't hurt. It's better than drinking coffee.
They got all of these drinks now. What's it called? Like Red Bull. A lot of people drink Red Bull, and they got all of these. What is it? Caffeine that's in it, or some? What's it?
Caffeine and sugar, number one drug in America.
Mm.
Plus, they put aspartame in the Red Bull. You're dealing with high fructose corn syrup again. You're shutting off the insulin in the body. You're setting your body up for diabetes. Plain and simple. The Red Bull is no good. If you want to age quicker, drink coffee and drink lots of caffeine. There's a book, I don't have the book, but I scanned it. It's called Caffeine Blues. You're overstimulating your adrenal glands. And over a period of time, it's going to wear your ass out.
That's like the number one import in this country, coffee. Like, this country got an addiction to some coffee.
Well, people are under the assumption that it's giving them energy. You go up and you crash, and then you want another drink.
Yeah.
And your adrenal glands, you're overstressing your adrenal glands. It's like trying to put too much electricity through a wire. You're short-circuiting yourself long term. The problem with the coffee is what they're spraying the coffee with the pesticides and herbicides. No good. Those pesticides and herbicides are building up in your body, and if you don't detox the pesticides and herbicides out of your system from drinking that coffee, you will absolutely get cancer.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. It's inevitable. Disease doesn't happen overnight. It happens over a period of time. Days, months, years, decades. Dehydrated, minerally depleted, overload of heavy metals in the system. It's affecting the way you perform. It's affecting your brain. And you have Alzheimer's. You have Parkinson's disease. You have lupus. I mean, this is how this medical system makes money off of your suffering and your failure to take responsibility in taking care of your body and giving it what it needs. You know, we all like to look nice and fly, but it's like, you know, if you don't take care of your health, you're going to look good in a box. You're going to look good in a coffin, looking good, but nowhere to go, because you're dead. You know, again, at the end of the day, if you don't have your health, you don't have much. You only got one body. You need to take care of your vehicle while you're here. You know, you people out here, they take care of their cars better than they take care of their bodies. And I don't understand that, because, you know, I go to these lectures in the city on nutrition, and these white folks, they want to live. They're on it. They're working out, they're running in Central Park, they're doing their yogas, the proper nutrition, the raw foods, the meditation, supplementation. It's a lifestyle that we need to re-implement back into our culture for our longevity, because now we're getting to a point to where they are starting to live longer than we are. And we have the genetics, we have the melanin. They are spending millions of dollars on doing research on melanin. They don't have it. We got it. They know we got it. We know we got it, but we don't get we don't value the worth of it. They wish they had it. This is why they want to procreate through our women.
That's big now. That's big now.
Because they're getting skin cancer because they don't have any melanin. And the only way that they can continue to survive is through mating with our women, or through Asian women, or through Spanish women, because they have recessive genes. The time clock, their genetic time code clock is running out, and they're desperate. And they are using any means necessary to keep control of us. Malcolm X said, by any means necessary, they're operating on that on a covert level. They're, by any means necessary, staying in power and keeping us asleep to who we really are. They know who we are. Some of us know who we are, but a lot of us don't know who we are and what we got. And we're being locked down biochemically through the chemicals that are in our food, the chemicals that are in our water. We are on a biochemical lockdown from tapping into our innate abilities on a cellular level through our genetics. They can go up and dig up all our secrets in Egypt, but all the secrets are in our genes. And I look at it like this. We're running out of time, and we're also running out of excuses, and I'm tired of hearing the excuses. You know, we have to take responsibility for where we're at now so we can move forward and not keep dwelling on the past, on what they did to us. We need to start looking at what we're doing to each other. And the reason why we are not respected as a people is because we do not respect ourselves enough to respect each other as a collective. When we start respecting ourselves and we start respecting each other, then the world is going to see us different. And until then, we're going to be the welcoming mat for any other people who come to this country. They look down on us. And it's like, I'm tired of it. It's time for a change. It's time to take responsibility for who we are as individuals and as a collective, because at the end of the day, all we got is each other. And as long as we're divided, we're going to keep getting dogged out down here. It is absolutely time for a shift, because time is running out, and the excuses, some of the excuses may be valid, but we got work to do. Because, you know, I worked for these people for 6 years, and, you know, I thought I was doing the right thing until I became conscious. And then after I did the Gulf War in Iraq, I got out because I said, you know what? I can't do this anymore, because it's not who I am. It's not what I wanted to be. I just woke up. But we're all getting programmed, either if you're in the military or in the civilian world. We're always being programmed by the system. So it's like we have to deprogram ourselves and bring ourselves down to ground zero and reprogram ourselves and build ourselves back up mentally, spiritually, and physically.
Mm-hmm. Now, to touch back on the water thing.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people, they say, you tell them the importance of drinking a lot of water, drink a gallon of water, you know, drinks this much water every day. A lot of people say, oh, water tastes, you know, I need something with a little more taste to it. That's what they'll say, you know. So is there any other drinks that are actually good out there besides water? Well, we know we got to drink water.
Got to drink something.
Definitely, but besides water, you know, for brothers and sisters at the store, is there anything else they could pick up?
Coconut water.
Coconut water, okay. Mm-hmm.
Coconut water, I like it. It hydrates me better than water, believe it or not. Some people, they're not feeling it. That's okay. Gotta drink more water. I'm not saying you gotta drink a gallon of water like I'm drinking. I've had to work myself up to drinking that much water a day. Drinking that much water a day and not pissing all over the place. Running looking for somewhere to go to the restroom. Oh shit, where's my pee bag?
Now, what about like orange juice, apple juice?
Orange juice is good. Moderation. Apple juice is good. But you got to read the labels to make sure it doesn't have high fructose corn syrup in it, as well as cranberry juice, and any of the other juices that are out there on the market. Fresh squeezed juice, you know, broccoli, kale, cabbage, spinach. Fresh squeezed juices are good. We need the green juices to oxygenate and purify the blood. We need the green foods because of the chlorophyll content. We need the green foods because of the minerals to alkalize our blood and saliva pH. We need the chlorophyll because you look like, I look at it like this. Our blood is red and it has iron in it. Chlorophyll is green and it has magnesium in it. Chlorophyll, the composition of chlorophyll is almost similar to blood, with the exception that, again, the blood has iron in it, and the magnesium, there's magnesium in the chlorophyll. We need the chlorophyll from the green foods, because you look at it like this. We're living in New York. We're living in a concrete jungle. We're living in an artificial environment. Could you imagine if there were no trees or no grass here in New York? We would not have any oxygen to breathe in this environment. So We need trees and we need grass so we can breathe, but we also need the green foods to oxygenate and purify the blood. So it's like, internal, we need chlorophyll, and then we need chlorophyll in our external environment so, the grass and the trees can process the carbon dioxide so we actually have oxygen to breathe.
Now, what about the smart water? Have you heard of the smart water?
I've heard of the smart water. I've drank the smart water before. It's marketing. I'm not going to say not to drink it. Again, you got to drink something, but I'm not going to buy bottled water when I can filter my own water and then put my minerals in the water. And I know the minerals are in the water because I put it in there myself. You prepare your own food. You filter your own water. You put the minerals in your water to alkalize your water, and you're good to go.
I see.
I think that, it's overpriced. Smart water, it's overpriced. Paying too much money. I'm paying 8 cents a gallon. I put 10 to 20 drops of minerals in my water. My water's alkaline. I'm supercharging my water. Keeps my energy levels up.
Now, what about the water you're drinking now, the Voss?
Good question. I've had this container for 3 years now. I put my filtered water in this container, and then I put my minerals in the water, and I'm on the move. Most of the time, I use a polycarbonate container that's much lighter than this glass. It's like a 32-ounce container. It's a polycarbonate container, and it doesn't leach. Voss is good water. I have to give it to them. The Voss water comes from Norway. It's like $3 though.
So that's not tap water from Queens.
No. Well, you know what? They market it that it's from Norway. We would like to believe that it's from Norway, but you really don't know.
Yeah.
But at least it's in glass. If I go to the store, if I see some Evian in the glass, I'm gonna grab that Evian. I'm gonna grab Evian in the glass before I grab water from a plastic container, because if again you're buying the plastic water in a plastic container with the number 2 grade plastic. Sometimes people tell me they buy bottled water and the water tastes like plastic. How long has the water been in the plastic container? You don't know. Sometimes they put a date on there, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes I see these stores that are selling bottled water sitting out in the sun.
Yeah.
Baking. How long has it been on the shelf? You don't know. These bottled water, the FDA does not require these bottled water companies to test their water for contaminants. I'm not a water guru. I'm not a water Nazi, but at least become conscious of what the situation is and do the best that you can. Just being conscious is, like you said earlier, that's half of it right there. Just becoming more conscious is more. You need to become more conscious. I think that's half the battle right there. Just becoming more conscious of the situation to begin with, but not worry about it. Do the best you can. Keep it moving.
Okay, we about to close up soon. Do you have anything in closing to tell the people that you want the people to know as far as the water or the health or anything motivational, that you might?
Well, what I like to say briefly is that, educate yourself, become self-taught, read the information and apply the information, so when you see the results, that's going to encourage you to keep applying that information that you're accessing. We have all the answers. It's whether or not you're looking for the answers. If you're not looking for the answers, it's not going to come tap you on the shoulder. I think that, one of my teachers once told me, if you want to know something, just ask. You start asking the right questions to the universe, eventually you're going to get an answer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it's worked for me. We take responsibility for our health as individuals, and as a collective, we can go a long way. But if we don't do anything about the problem, and then we become the problem, we can't keep blaming who for our problems anymore. We got to take responsibility for where we're at, again, as individuals and as a collective, and educate ourselves. And it doesn't cost anything to share that information with someone that you know or care about, your family member, your friends, or anyone who's at least willing to listen. And if you're sharing some knowledge with someone and you know where you got your information, you've done the research to back it up, and if they say, well, where'd you get that information? And you like, oh, well, I got it from blah, 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 blah. So they can go look it up for themselves and read that information and come to their own conclusion. Then they're going to come back to you and say, wow, I appreciate you giving me that information. I applied that information. I got the results. I'm feeling better. I mean, what's the point of looking good if you don't feel right?
Yeah, you're right.
If you feel good, you look better. But we too caught up in how we look, not about how we feel. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like to wear nice clothes, but it's the feeling. I go for the feeling, how I'm gonna feel. I do what I do. I do my research because I can't help but want to go find these answers. So like you and I, we met out in Brooklyn. I can't help but give you the information because I want to see you benefit from it. I don't like to see our people sick, because I see that there are solutions to the problem, and I see what the causes are to what's affecting the health of our community, not just here in New York, but just here in America on on a national scale. I'm not a rocket scientist. I don't have a master's or a PhD. I did go to college, but it's like we need to apply our common sense and put our research together and put our heads together so we can come up with a solution, because by nature we are problem solvers. We put our heads together. Two heads are better than one. We need to put together a think tank and start thinking about where we're at now and where are we going to go with our future moving forward, and not dwelling on the past. So when we get our health on track, getting the proper nutrition, we get our minds in check, we're on the move.
Do you think it varies from city to city, or do you think every city is just about the same when it comes to the health and the problems that's plaguing the black community?
Well, I think that I've been living here in New York since '94. I've traveled around the world. I've been throughout the United States. I think New York is like the extreme of everywhere else. As far as where we're at collectively, as far as our health, and on a national level. And fast food, fried food, and pork, it's not going to do it for us. That brother Layla Africa, who wrote the book Nutricide, and then the caption is,
here lies
Mr. and Mrs. Negro hate themselves to death. They're not doing it to us. We're doing it. The slave food has got to go. It's what's taking us out. If you're going to eat fast food, but eat less of it. There's no nutrition in it. You don't know where this food comes from. Got to cut down on the fast food. It's really taking us out. It's really taking our youth out at a rapid rate, and they are aging quickly because of eating this food. I call it Franken food. Yeah. Genetically modified food.
The kids seem to be maturing much faster these days,
and they're deteriorating a lot more rapidly. I mean, I'm in my early 40s. I just turned 42, and I look at some of these kids out here that are like seniors in high school, maybe their first or second year in college, and some of them look older than me. I'm like, what's going on? I mean, physically, they may be bigger than me, but I can see like they look older than what they really are. They're not giving the body what it needs on a daily basis. If you don't give your body what it needs on a daily basis, you're going to age that much more quickly. Your lifespan is going to be short. If you're not healthy, there's no possibility of living a happy life. And it's not so much as how long you live, is, you know, the quality of life that you live while you're here. You know, Johnny Cochran, brother was like 76. He had at least 10 more years in him. I saw him at the Human Bookstore in Harlem about 2 years ago. Brother looked good. He put on a few pounds here and there, but overall, the brother was in good spirits. He took care of himself. And I would like to be able to live to at least be 75, 76 like him, if not longer, and just try to lead by example. You know, we do need to communicate with each other as a people, and we do need to talk, but at a certain point, talk is cheap. Action speaks louder than words. And if we're gonna be, we need to become leaders, we need to lead by example to the youth. Because all they're doing is looking at what we're doing.
Do you think the diet and how we're eating now is contributing to the rise in homosexuality in the black community?
Well, I put it to you like this. I saw this movie about 10 years ago called Erin Brockovich. Julia Roberts was in the movie.
Yeah.
You have multinational corporations, you know, corporations that are in Forbes magazine, industrial companies that are dumping toxins into our water, and that becomes a part of the water that we end up drinking later on down the road. And there are certain chemicals in our water supply that are affecting our hormones. So now women are giving birth to men now who have breasts. And then you have women who are becoming more masculine because of the overload of estrogen that's in our water supply. So this is something to consider. I read an article some time ago about them finding atrazine, which is a weed killer, and they found that in the water supply. Atrazine is a weed killer that feminizes frogs. So use your imagination just a little bit. How is that affecting us as humans?
And that was in the water.
That was in the water. The hormones that are in the chickens in our food, it's affecting our hormones. So I think that there's somewhere in there is affecting people's sexual demeanor or sexual preference. I don't think that homosexuality is a part of our culture. I know that's a touchy subject to hit on for some people, but you know, there are some external factors in this country that are promoting it, and some of our people that are celebrities are directly or indirectly promoting that type of behavior or that type of, their sexual preference.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real touchy subject out there, and I'm like, I was in the military for 6 years, and they're people just like anyone else, and whatever their preference is, that's their business. But I don't think anyone has a right to impose their beliefs or their sexual preference on someone else. you got to draw the line somewhere. So, that's what I'll at least say about that subject. That's I think people need to respect people as human beings, and whatever your sexual preference is, that's your business. But to impose that on someone else, then I think that there's some karma involved there.
See, I kind of like the old type of racism better. The overt in your face racism, where at least we know they're attacking us.
That's true.
Right now, they're attacking us on the biochemical, through the water, through the cell phones. I mean, so many different levels. Through the food, through putting the bad food in the black community, and it's just like, our people don't know which way it's coming from.
You're right. It's coming from so many different angles, and if you don't have the knowledge, you don't know how to counteract the effects. So that's where we need to come together and educate ourselves and share that information with someone who may want to know, so we can make conscious decision. Here's the situation, and this is how we counter the effects, as opposed to being ignorant and then getting caught up in a situation and not aware of how you're being affected. We are living in the age of information, and we're running out of excuses. The information is out there, but some people I've noticed here, living here in New York since 1994, they don't want to hear the truth. People don't want to know the truth, because then they have to make a choice. They have to make a decision. They have to become responsible. And people don't want to become responsibility, because there's an underlying fear there. We, as human beings, are creatures of habit. And it's much harder to change. It's easier to stay the way you are. Transformation is not an easy path to take, and it's only for those who want it. And it's like, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to become more disciplined, focused, committed, and consistent to getting consistent results in your life, as opposed to living a life of mediocrity, plugged into the matrix, being a corporate slave per se, working for the corporations that have control of the media and the misinformation, and keeping us in the dark about what's happening on this planet on a global scale. There's a lot of misinformation out there. But within the midst of the information, knowing that they are aware of the universal laws, they have to tell the truth as well, to kind of balance things out. So, even though I don't watch TV, I watch certain movies, because they're telling us things in these movies.
Yeah.
They make the lie look like the truth, and the truth look like the lie. So, proper nutrition, meditation, prayer, some type of physical working out, yoga, Pilates, martial arts, whatever turns you on. We have to become spiritual warriors, because we're being affected on the physical, we're being affected on the mental plane, and we're being affected on the spiritual. So I think it's absolutely necessary that we tighten all three of those aspects of our lives, so we can have productive lives, so we can pass that legacy on to the youth. Again, it comes down to leading by example and not just by lip service, because we got some so-called black leaders out there who they talking the talk, but they're working for the matrix. And And in some cases, they really don't have a choice. I would really say, if you really want to understand this system to a degree, there's a book out called The Economic Hitman, written by John Perkins. You read that book, you'll understand the matrix a lot better on an economical level. You'll see who the players are, the real players.
Yeah. So in conclusion, it's been a pleasure having you here, brother. This is another Underground Railroad presentation. To purchase DVDs in person, you could meet me at Fulton Street Mall in Hanover Place, right in front of Jimmy Jazz. I have lectures from this brother here, health, anything else you want to know about, or if you want to contact the brother concerning the filtration system, give them your contact one more time, brother.
My phone number here in Manhattan is 212-927-8731. I just wanted to say to you, Rich, I appreciate you taking the time to meet up with me so we can share this information with people so they can make conscious decisions so they can empower their lives.
And in closing, like we said, just knowledge just ain't power. A lot of people say knowledge is power. It's the application of that knowledge. You have to apply what you learn here and what you may read in a book. If you watch The Secret, you have to apply it. It's not just knowing it. It's not just giving a speech or, talking or impressing somebody. It's applying it. That's when it's useful and that's when it's powerful. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.